Let us discuss the next pattern of questions. Before discussing the next pattern of questions, first I will explain the concept followed by questions. Okay. So observe here carefully. So I am going to give you three statements. Observe here carefully. First statement is 20% of 30. This is my first statement. Second statement is 20 is what percent? 20 is what percent of 30? Third statement, 20 is what percent? 20 is what percent more or less? More or less than 30. Now these three statements are like really important. Why? Because there are many questions that are going to come based upon this particular concept. What happens is many of the students does not have proper idea on this. That is the reason they get confused over here and they commit mistakes. So that is the reason you need to be clear in the concept. First statement is 20% of 30. Second statement is 20 is what percent of 30, and third statement is 20 is what percent. If it is more, you will take it as more. If it is less, you will take it as less. But in this, we can say it as less. Why? Because 20 is less than 30. So I can say it as 20 is what percent less than 30. Now how to differentiate this? Okay, very simple. And how to calculate this? Observe here carefully. When I ask you 20% of 30, how do you calculate this? 20% of 30 is nothing but 20 by 100 into 30. This is how you calculate it, and we'll say that answer is nothing but 6. Okay, so this is how you calculate it. But if I ask you like 20 is what percent of 30? When I ask you 20 is what percent of 30, it means 20 by 30 into 100. So 20 by 30 into 100, which is nothing but 66.66%. Yes or no? Why? Because 20 is what percent of 30 means 20 by 30 into 100. So 20 by 30 into 100 is nothing but 66.66%. Similarly, if I ask you 20 is what percent, actually it is less, so we'll take it as less. 20 is what percent less than 30. When I ask you 20 is what percent less than 30, then you need to take difference of these two. Difference. Now look here, 20 and 30. Difference is how much? Difference is 10. So 10 by, you are supposed to compare that with 30. So 10 by 30 into 100. So 10 by 30 into 100 is nothing but 33.33%. Okay. Now this is very simple and important. So you need to know differentiation among these three. 20% of 30 is nothing but 6. 20 is what percent of 30 is nothing but 66.66%. 20 is what percent more or less than 30 means 33.33%. Okay. So now how to remember and how to calculate this? Simple. Observe here. Whenever you have x is what percent of y, x is what percent of y is same as 20 is what percent of 30. Now what you will do is like whatever the value that is going to come after of, whatever the value that is going to come after of, you will take it as denominator. If you look here, after of I got 30. So 30 is going to be my denominator and 20 will be my numerator. So 20 by 30 into 100. Okay. Now in this one, this is same as x is what percent more or less than y. Whenever you have x is what percent more or less than y, what you need is like first you need to take difference. Difference means for 20 and 30 you need to take difference. Difference is 10 divided by whatever that is going to come after than. Look here, whatever that is going to come after than, that should be your denominator. After than I got 30. So 30 will be my denominator. So 10 by 30 into 100. Okay. So this is like very simple and important concept. 20% of 30 is different. 20 is what percent of 30 is different. 20 is what percent more or less than 30? It is also different. So all these three are like different. Now in examination, how actually it is going to come? Look here. X is what percent, X is what percent of Y. Or sometimes it will be in this way as well. X is what percent of Y, or sometimes it will be like what percent of X is Y. Sometimes it will be in this way as well. Sometimes it will be like X is what percent of Y. Sometimes it will be like what percent of X is Y. Now this is like very simple, you should not get confused, but many of the guys confused here. So what I have told you, whenever you have statements in this way, whatever that is going to come after of, that should be a denominator. Yes or no? So simply observe here, whatever that is going to come after of, that should be denominator. Look here, after of I am going to get Y. So Y should be my denominator and X should be my numerator. So X by Y into 100. Which means X is what percent of Y is same as X by Y into 100. Similarly, what percent of X is Y? Look here, after of I am getting X. As after of I am getting X, so X should be in the denominator. If X is in the denominator, numerator should be Y. So Y by X into 100. So whatever the terminology it may be, you need not worry. You just need to remember whatever that is going to come after of, whatever that is going to come after of, that should be your denominator. Let us example, if I ask you Ramesh is what percent of Suresh. When I ask you Ramesh is what percent of Suresh, after of I am getting Suresh. So it is going to be Ramesh by Suresh into 100. Yes or no? Let us example, if I say apple is what percent of mango. Apple is what percent of mango means after of I am getting mango. That is the reason mango should be the denominator. So apple by mango into 100. Okay. So you do not get confused here. Very simple. Apple is what percent of mango, or mango is what percent of apple, or what percent of apple is mango. It's all not a matter. Simply you remember just one particular thing, that is like whatever that is going to come after of, that will be your denominator. Look here, whatever that is going to come after of, that should be your denominator. Remember this simple point, that is sufficient, nothing more than that. Okay. Next, similarly we will have one more terminology also, as we have said earlier, that is like X is what percent, X is what percent more or less, X is what percent more or less than Y. So we will be having in this way also, X is what percent more or less than Y. X is what percent more or less than Y means what it is like, calculate difference by whatever that is going to come after than, that should be your denominator. Look here, whatever that is going to come after than, that should be a denominator. After than you got Y. As you got Y, so Y should be your denominator. Difference by Y into 100. Okay, very simple. Difference by Y into 100. If I say like apple is what percent more than mango. If I say apple is what percent more than mango, then it will take difference by mango into 100. Yes or no? Why? Because after than I got mango. So this reason apple is what percent more than mango means difference by mango into 100. So simply remember, whenever you are going to come across after than, whatever you are going to come after than, that will be your denominator. If the statement is X is what percent more or less than Y, simply you need to do difference by whatever that is going to come after than, that will be your denominator. More you will take it if the value is like more, less you will take it if the value is like less. That is like simply example, if I have like 70, I will say it as 70 is what percent more than 50, right? Why? Because 70 is more than 50. As 70 is more than 50, I will say it as 70 is what percent more than 50. But if you observe here, in this I can say it as 40 is what percent less than 50. Why? Because 40 is not more than 50. It is less than 50. That is the reason I will say 40 is what percent less than 50. Okay. But here it is 70 is what percent more than 50. If it is more, you will be saying it as more. If it is less, you will be saying it as less. That's it. But don't forget, whatever that is going to come after than, that should be your denominator. In the numerator, you need to take difference. Okay. So these two terminologies are really important. X is what percent of y is important. Similarly, x is what percent more or less than y is important. In this, whatever that is going to come after of, you will take it as denominator. In this, whatever that is going to come after than, that you will be taking it as denominator. Okay, very important and simple. Now, one more important point. Observe here carefully. Even this is like really important. Now, if I ask you a question, what is 36% of 50? What is 36% of 50? When I ask you what is 36% of 50, many of the guys try to do calculation. But if I ask you the same question in this way, 50% of 30, what is 50% of 30? What is 50% of 36? 50% of 36 is nothing but 18, yes or no? Now, if you observe, my initial question is 36% of 50. Now, my question is 50% of 36. And if you have observed, whether 36% of 50 or 50% of 36, for both of them, answers will be 18. So that is the reason you need to know one simple point, that is x percent of y is same as y percent of x, which means 30% of 100 or 100% of 30, both are same. Similarly, 20% of 80 or 80% of 20, both of them will be same. If you need, you can observe here. Let us example, I have a statement x percent of y, x percent of y. Now, can I write x percent of y as x by 100 into y? Can I write in this way? Now, if I am going to multiply this, it is going to be xy by 100. Now, can I write in this way? Y by 100 into x. Now, if you observe here, y by 100. What is y by 100? Y by 100 is nothing but y percent. Multiplication is nothing but of x. Yes or no? Now, if you have observed here, y percent of x, and this is x percent of y, which means x percent of y is same as y percent of x. Yes or no? My initial equation is x percent of y. And finally, I got y percent of x, which means from x percent of y, we can say that y percent of x, both are like exactly same to same. That is the reason whether you calculate 25% of 36 or whether you calculate 36% of 25, both of them will be same. If you want, you can check it. 25% of 36 or 36% of 25, both of them will be same. Why? Because x percent of y is same as y percent of x. Even this is like very important concept. Why? Because if you know this particular concept, you can try to make complicated calculations as simple calculations. If I ask you what is 36% of 25, calculating this is like complicated. But if I ask you what is 25% of 36, it is just a fraction of second. Yes or no? That is the reason what you need to do is like, if you know the concept x percent of y is same as y percent of x, then based upon your flexibility, you can convert x percent of y to y percent of x, or you can convert y percent of x to x percent of y. It's up to you once if you know the concept. That is the reason, remember the point, x percent of y is same as y percent of x. Okay. So whatever we have discussed till now, all these are like basics that are going to be required for the upcoming questions. So let us look at model number 2. So model number 2, first question. Okay. Very simple and basic question. Observe here. 65 grams is what percent of 2 kg? Now this is like very simple question. Look here, 65 grams is what percent of 2 kg? Now look here, now this is in terms of grams, but this is in terms of kg. Now what it is like, convert this kg in terms of grams. We know that 1 kg is equal to 1000 grams. This is what we know, yes or no? 1 kg is nothing but 1000 grams. As 1 kg is 1000 grams, so 2 kg is nothing but 2 into 1000 grams. Now we need in terms of percentage. As we need in terms of percentage into 100. So when you calculate 00, 00 gets cancelled. Now this is nothing but 65 by 20. When you simplify this, 5 cancels here 13 times and 5 cancels here 4 times. Now this is going to be 13 by 4%. Yes or no? So I can simply mark it as first option. Very simple question. And this was the question that was asked in examination. Just you need to know that 2 kg you need to convert in terms of grams. Why? Because this is in terms of grams. So convert 2 kg in terms of grams. So 65 grams is what percent of 2 kg. When you convert this in terms of grams, we'll come to know that answer is 13 by 4%. Okay. Let us look at the next one. Convert 64 by 25 into percentage. It's very simple question. Just by looking at the question, I can say answer is 256. And even this was the question that was asked in examination. If you look here, why I have marked 256 directly means, observe here, if you look at the question, it is 64 by 25. They are asking us to convert this in terms of percentage. So we need to do into 100. Now if you observe here, if you look at 64, 64 is like almost double of 25. Why? Because double of 25 is 50. But this is 64, which is more than 50, which means this is almost 2 times. If it is almost 2 times, 2 into 100 will be 200, which means our answer should be more than 200. Yes, as it should be more than 200. Now this is 2.56. Now this is 0.256. Now this is 25.6. Then I can simply say more than 200 I have only one option. 256 is my answer. Then why to calculate? If you want you can calculate also. If you are going to calculate, 100 cancels in 25. How many times? 4 times. 64 into 4, you can say answer is 256. But without calculating this also, just by using common sense, I can say answer directly 256. And this was the exact question that was asked in SSC CPU examination. Let us look at the next one. A percent of B plus B percent of A is equal to what? Even this very simple question. Look here. A percent of B. A percent of B plus B percent of A. Now if you look here, B percent of A or A percent of B, both are like same. Now can I write B percent of A as A percent of B? Why? Because X percent of Y is same as Y percent of X. Using that particular concept, I can say B percent of A is same as A percent of B. Now look here, even this is A percent of B. Even this is A percent of B. Now this is going to be 2A percent of B. Yes or no? Why? Because even I have here one time. Even I have here one time. 1 plus 1, this will be 2. So 2A percent of B. So where do you have option? 2A percent of B. So first one will be an answer. And look here, some of the guys what they will do is like, they will try to mark 2A percent of 2B. Now this is like wrong answer. You can't mark this. Why? Because this is A percent of B plus A percent of B. So A percent of B plus A percent of B is nothing but 2A percent of B. Okay. It's not 2A percent of 2B. Okay. Very simple question. Just you need to know the concept. X percent of Y is same as Y percent of X. If you know that concept, you can answer this question just by looking at the question itself. Okay. Let us look at the next one. 320% of 45 plus 45% of 320 is how much? Now even this is like very simple question. Look here, 320% of 45, can I write it as 45% of 320? Why? Because X percent of Y is same as Y percent of X. That is reason 320% of 45 can be written as 45% of 320 plus. Even here I have 45% of 320. Okay, 45% of 320. Now this is 45% of 320. Even this is 45% of 320. Now this is going to be 2 into 45% of 320. Yes or no? Now calculate. If we calculate this, what is 45% of 320? 45% is nothing but 50% minus 5%. 50% of 320 is 160. Yes or no? 5% is 16. 160 minus 16 is nothing but 144. So now it is going to be 2 into 144, which is nothing but 288. So answer is nothing but 288. Very, very simple question. Just you need to know the concept. X percent of y is same as y percent of x. When I know x percent of y is same as y percent of x, then I can say 320% of 45 is same as 45% of 320. So even this is 45% of 320, even this is 45% of 320. Now this is going to be 2 into 45% of 320. When you calculate 45% of 320 is nothing but 144. So 2 into 144, which is going to be 288. Let us look at the next one. 5% of A equal to B. Then B percent of 20 is same as. Now even this is like a very simple question. Look here, 5% of A is going to be B. Now your question is B percent of 20. Now can I write B percent of 20 as 20% of B? Can I write in this way? B percent of 20 is same as 20% of B. When I write it as 20% of B, I already know what is B. Yes or no? I already know what is B. Substitute B here. If I substitute here, this is going to be 20% of B is nothing but 5% of A. Yes or no? Why? Because B is 5% of A. Now 5% is nothing but 5 by 100. Yes or no? 5% is same as 5 by 100. Now 5 by 100 means 100 cancels in 5 20 times. So I can say it as 20% of A by 20. Yes or no? So 20% of A by 20. So what is your answer? 20% of A by 20, which is like fourth option. Okay, very, very simple question. Just what you need is like, already you have 5% of A as B, you need to calculate B percent of 20. So what I have done, I have converted B percent of 20 as 20% of B. Already I know what is B value, so substitute B value. So when you calculate, you will come to know that answer is 20% of A by 20, which is nothing but fourth option. Let us look at the next one. 2% of A equal to B. Then B percent of 10 is same as. Look here, B percent of 10, can I write it as B percent of 10 as 10% of B? Even this is similar to previous question. Okay, but slightly different. That is the reason I am explaining this question also. B percent of 10, I can write as 10% of B. Already you know what is B. Yes or no? Substitute here. When you substitute here, this is going to be 10% of. B value is how much? B value is nothing but 2% of A. Yes or no? Now 2% of A is nothing but 2 by 100. Yes or no? Or you can do in this way as well. Now 2% of A is nothing but 2 by 100. Okay. Now if you observe here, in all these options are like starting with 2, 2, 2, 2. That is reason multiply this. When you multiply this, 10 into 2 is nothing but 20%. Yes or no? 10 into 2 is nothing but 20%. 20% of, now is going to be A by 100. Yes or no? So look for the option showing 20% of A by 100, which is like second option. Yes or no? Very, very simple. Just need to use your common sense. Once if you are going to use your common sense, these questions can be solved very easily. What I have done is, I need to calculate B percent of 10. I took B percent of 10 as 10% of B. Already I know what is B. Substitute B. When you substitute B, this is 2% of A. So 2% of A is nothing but 2 by 100 into A. As options are starting with 20, so multiply this 2 with 10. So 2 into 10 is nothing but 20%. 20% of A by 100. So 20% of A by 100, which is like second option. Okay. Let us look at the next one. If X percent of A is same as y percent of b, then z percent of b will be. Very simple question. Look here. Look here. Actually, when you read these questions, they look like complicated, but truly speaking, they are very simple. If you observe this question, it is saying that x percent of A, x percent of A is same as y percent of B, and we are asked to calculate z percent of B. Yes or no? We are asked to calculate z percent of B. Very simple. Just observe here. Now if you look here, as I need to calculate z percent of B, already I have B here. So what I will do is like, I will multiply the whole equation with y. I will divide the whole equation with y. When I divide the whole equation with y, now this is going to be divide by y, divide by y. Now y and y cancel. As y and y cancel, now this is going to be 1% of b. Okay, 1% of b is equal to x percent of A by y. Now I need what? I need z percent of b. That is the reason, multiply this with z. When you multiply this with z, now it is going to be z and it is going to be z. Why? Because when I multiply, I need to multiply on the both sides. When I multiply on the both sides, now if you look here, z percent of b. Even I need z percent of b. What is z percent of b? Z percent of b is nothing but z x y percent of A. Yes or no? Zx by y percent of A. Where do you have that option? Zx by y percent of A, which is going to be second option. Very simple question. Okay. If it is not clear, I am going to explain you one more time. Just observe here carefully. But truly speaking, this is like very simple question. Our given equation is x percent of A is equal to y percent of B. I need to find z percent of B. First what I am doing is like divide it by y. When I divide it by y, it is going to be x by y percent of A is equal to 1% of B. Why? Because when I divide by y and y get cancelled, I am going to get 1% of B. Next, multiply this with z. After dividing with y, next multiply it with z. So after dividing with y, next what you do is like multiply this with z. When you multiply this with z, this is going to be zx by y percent of A is equal to z percent of B. Now even your question is, what is z percent of B? Z percent of B is nothing but zx by y percent of A. Zx by y percent of A, which is like option 2. Very simple and basic question. Even this calculation also not required. Okay. Let us look at the next one. If x percent of y is 150, then y percent of z is 300, then the relation between x and z is what? So we need to know what is the relation between x and z. Even this is very simple question. Observe here, x percent of y. So x percent of y is nothing but 150. Similarly, y percent of z. Y percent of z is nothing but 300. Now we need to know relation between x and z. Now this is very simple question. Observe carefully. If you observe here, this value is how much? 150. And this value is how much? 300. If you use your common sense, now this is 150 and this is 300. As this is 150 and this is 300, what I will do is, I will make it as 300. If I need to make it as 300, I need to multiply the whole equation with 2. When I multiply the whole equation with 2, now it is going to be 2x percent of y is equal to 300. Why? Because when I multiply the whole equation with 2, this will be 2x percent of y is equal to 300. Now look here, even this is 300 and even this 300. As both are 300, can I equal them? Yes or no? I can equal them. When I equal them, substitute this. When I substitute here, this is going to be y percent of z. Why? Because I made this as 300 and even this 300. 300, both of them will be same. As both of them are same, 2x percent of y is equal to y percent of z. Now calculate percentage gets cancelled, of gets cancelled. Yes or no? Similarly, y gets cancelled. Finally, you're left out with z is equal to 2x, which means relation between z and x. Z and x is nothing but z is equal to 2x, which is option 4. Very, very simple question. Okay. Now, whatever the questions we have discussed, all these are nothing but simply based upon basic relation of x percent of y is same as y percent of x. So once if you know that x percent of y is same as y percent of x, then obviously you can solve all these questions very, very easily. Next question, if 60% of p equal to 40% of q, then p equal to x percent of q. Find x. We are asked to find what is the value of x. Now this question is like very simple. Observe here carefully. In the question it is said that 60% of p is equal to 40% of q. Now when you simplify this one, 20 cancels here 3 times, 20 cancels here 2 times. So you can say that p is equal to 2 by 3q. When I say p equal to 2 by 3q, what does 2 by 3 represent? 2 by 3 is nothing but 66.66%, which means the value of x nothing but 66.66. Okay, just very, very simple question. We'll come to know that p equal to 2 by 3q. 2 by 3 is nothing but 66.66%. So value of x is nothing but 66.66. Let us look at the next one. If 20% of A equal to 50% of B, then what percent of A is B? So you have to read question clearly. What percent of A, which means after of I am getting A, as after of I am getting A should be in the denominator and B should be in the numerator, which means you need to calculate B by A into 100. The same concept already I have discussed initially. Whatever that is going to come after of, it should be in the denominator. So after of I got A should be in the denominator and B should be in the numerator, which means we need to calculate B by A into 100. Okay, calculate. If we calculate this, percentage gets cancelled, of gets cancelled, 10 goes here 2 times, 10 goes here 5 times, which means we can say that 2A is equal to 5B. Yes or no? Now if you simplify this one, A by B is equal to 5 by 2, which means A is 5 parts and B is 2 parts. But our question is not A by B, our question is B by A. So B is nothing but 2 and A is nothing but 5. So 2 by 5 into 100. So 2 by 5 is nothing but 40%, which means our answer is going to be 40%. Very, very simple question. Just you need to know relation between A and B. Once if you know relation between A and B, and you have to read the question clearly. When you read the question clearly, you need to find B by A into 100. So B by A into 100 is nothing but 40%. Let us look at the next one. If A percent of A plus B percent of B equal to 2% of AB, then what percent of A is B? If you observe here, what percent of A is B means even now you need to calculate B by A into 100. Why? Because whatever that is going to come after of, it should be in the denominator. After of I got A, so A should be in the denominator. So B by A into 100. Let us calculate. In the question it is given that A percent of A plus B percent of B is equal to 2% of AB. Yes or no? If you observe here, percentage gets cancelled, of gets cancelled, then finally you are left out with A into A, that is A square, plus B into B, that is B square, is equal to 2AB. Yes or no? Now can I say it as A square plus B square minus 2AB equal to 0. Now if you observe here, now this is in the form of A minus B whole square. Yes or no? Why? Because A minus B whole square is what? A minus B whole square is nothing but A square plus B square minus 2AB. So I can say it as A minus B whole square equal to 0. From this I can say that A minus B equal to 0, which means A is equal to B. If A is equal to B, my question is to find what percent of A is B. What percent of A is B means in place of B I can replace A, or in place of A I can replace B. In place of A, if I replace B, now it is going to be B by B into 100. Now B by B into 100 is same as 100%. Yes or no? So answer is nothing but 100%. Very simple question. And truly speaking, all this calculation is not required. This is just for the purpose of understanding. I have written in detail, but truly speaking, you will not do all this calculation. Simply if you observe here, percentage cancel, off cancel. Now this is A square, this is B square, and when it come to the other side, it will be minus 2AB. Now this is in the form of A minus B whole square. A minus B whole square equal to 0, which means A equal to B. If A equal to B means A and B both are exactly same to same. Our question is what percent of A is B? So I can say that A and B are both same to same. I can say it as 100%. So answer will be 100%. Let us look at the next question. If 50% of x minus y equal to 40% of x plus y, then what percent of x is y? Which means after off you are going to get x, so x should be in the denominator. So you need to calculate y by x into 100. Okay, very simple. Just remember the points whatever I have told you earlier. Don't get confused. Simply remember the points whatever I have told you earlier. After off whatever you are going to get, you should take it as denominator. As you need to take it as denominator, after off I got x, so x should be in the denominator. So y by x into 100. Calculate it. When you calculate it, what happens? Percentage gets cancelled. 10 cancels here 5 times, 10 cancels here 4 times. If you simplify this one, it is going to be 5x minus 5y is equal to 4x plus 4y. Yes or no? Now if you simplify this one, 4x come to the other side, it will be minus 4x. 5x minus 4x is nothing but x is equal to minus 5y go to the other side plus 5y. 5y plus 4y is nothing but 9y. Which means x by y is equal to 9 by 1, which means x is 9 parts, y is 1 part. Now what you need to find? You need to find y by x into 100. Y is nothing but 1 part, x is nothing but 9 part. So 1 by 9 into 100. 1 by 9 is nothing but 11.11%. Yes or no? So answer should be 11.11% is same as 11 1 by 9%. Very simple question. And truly speaking, all these calculations are really not required. Once if you are really good in calculations, you can do it much faster. But just for the purpose of understanding, each and everyone should understand clearly. That is the reason I am doing all this. So just you need to know that x is 9, y is 1. If x is 9 parts and y is 1 part, you need to find y by x into 100. Y is 1 part, x is 9 part. 1 by 9. 1 by 9 is nothing but 11.11%, which is same as 11 1 by 9%, which is second option. Okay, let us look at the next one. In an examination, Ramesh scored 30% less than Suresh and Mahesh scored 20% less than Suresh. Ramesh's score is what percent of Mahesh's score? Look here, read the question clearly. Ramesh's score is what percent of Mahesh? Ramesh's score is what percent of Mahesh means after off I am getting who? Mahesh, which means I need to calculate Ramesh by Mahesh into 100. Yes or no? Why? Because your question is Ramesh's score is what percent of Mahesh. After off I am getting Mahesh, so it should be Ramesh by Mahesh into 100. Now if you look here, Ramesh's score and Mahesh's score are dependent upon Suresh's score. Yes or no? If you know what is Suresh's score, then you can say what is Ramesh and what is Mahesh. Now let us say Suresh's score is 100. If Suresh's score is 100, it is said that Ramesh is 30% less than Suresh. So 30% less than Suresh means out of 100, 30% less means 70, which means Ramesh is going to be 70. And if you look at Mahesh, Mahesh is 20% less than Suresh. So out of 100, 20% less, 20% less is nothing but 80, which means Ramesh is going to be 70 and Mahesh is going to be 80. Our question is Ramesh by Mahesh. So Ramesh is 70 and Mahesh is 80. So 70 by 80 into 100, which is same as 7 by 8 into 100. So 7 by 8 already I told you to remember. 7 by 8 is nothing but 87.5%. Okay. So answer is nothing but 87.5%. Very simple questions. Look here, even this calculation is also not required. Once if you read the question clearly, you can solve all these questions in just fraction of seconds. Nothing more than that. Just observe the questions clearly. Once if you are able to observe the questions, you can solve all these questions in fraction of seconds. But the matter is like understanding the question is like really important. Okay. Let us look at the next one. Two numbers are less than a third number by 30% and 37% respectively. The percent by which the second number is less than the first is. Now look here, this question is similar to x is what percent more or less than y. Whenever you come across x is what percent more or less than y, what you have to do is like simply difference by whatever that is going to come after than into 100. This is what we have discussed earlier. Again you will be doing the same thing. So first you need to do difference divided by whatever that is going to come after than. After than, what you are coming? After than you are coming across first number. So difference by first number. Difference by first number into 100. So simply what it is like difference by first number into 100. Now look here, what is first number? So first number and what is second number? If you need to know first number and second number, first you need to know what is third number. Let us say third number is 100. If third number is 100, the question is saying first number is 30% less and second number is 37% less than the third number. So first number is 30% less. So 30% less means it is going to be 70. And second number is 37% less, which means it is going to be 63. So first number is 70 and second number is 63. Now I can calculate. So difference means 70 and 63. Difference is nothing but 7 divided by first number. First number is how much? 70. So 7 by 70 into 100. Now 70 cancels in 7 10 times and 100 cancels in 10 times. So we can say that answer is nothing but 10%. Now if you have observed, either you can calculate them using the formula difference by whatever that is going to come after than into 100. Either you can do in this way or you can do the same question in terms of ratio as well. Yes, observe here carefully. If I need to calculate them in terms of ratio, calculate the ratio. Now 70 and 63 ratio, 7 cancels here 10 times and 7 cancels here 9 times, which means first number is a 10 parts, second number is 9 parts. Now what is your question? Your question is second number is how much percent less than first number. Look here, this is second number, this first number. Second number is less than first. Now this is 9 parts, this is 10 parts. So 9 is how much less than 10? 1 less than 10. So divide by 1 by 10 into 100. Yes or no? 1 by 10 into 100. So 1 by 10 is nothing but 10%. So I can simply say answer is 10%. Either you can calculate using formula or simply calculate using ratio. So if you calculate using ratio, 9 is 1 less than 10. So 1 by 10. 1 by 10 is nothing but 10%. Okay. Let us look at the next one. Next question is A is 25% more than B and B is 40% less than C. If C is 30% more than D, then by what percent is A less than D? Which means we need comparison between A and D. Let us compare. First one, if you observe, comparison between A, B. In the question it is saying that A, B comparison, A is 25% more than B. 25% is nothing but 1 by 4. When I say more, you need to do plus, which means A is more than B. As A is more than B, if B is going to be 4 parts, A should be 5 parts. Yes or no? Why? Because A is 25% more than B. 25% is nothing but 1 part. 100% is nothing but 4 parts. So 4 plus 1 total 5. So A is 25% more than B. Next, similarly, B is 40% less than C. 40% in terms of fraction is 2 by 5. As it is lesser, it should be minus. Okay. Now, B is less than C. So, B is 40% less than C. If C is 5, B should be 40% less. So, 5 minus 2, it is going to be 3. Next, if you look at the next statement, C is 30% more than D. 30% is nothing but 3 by 10. When I say more, it should be plus. Yes or no? So, C is 30% more than D. If D is going to be 10 parts, then C is going to be 13 parts. Why? Because C is 30% more than D. Now, what you need to do is like, you need to calculate ratio between A and D. Once you calculate ratio between A and D, then I can say what percent is A less than D. Yes or no? Now, calculate it. Now, this is like very simple. Why? Because if you observe AB, BC, CD. Now, BB cancel, CC cancel, I will directly come across AD. The same concept will be coming across in ratio and proportions also. When you calculate it, 5 gets cancelled. Any cancellations? No more cancellations. Now, if you multiply this, 3 into 13 is 39. Similarly, 4 into 10 is 40. Which means A is 39 parts and D is 40 parts. Now, what is your question? Your question is, then by what percent is A less than D? Look here, A is how much less than D? If you look here, A is 39 and D is 40. So, A is 1 less than 40. So, 1 by 40 into 100. So, 1 by 40 into 100 is nothing but 2.5%. So, answer is nothing but 2.5. Why? Because A is 1 less than 40. As A is 1 less than 40, 1 by 40. So, 1 by 40 is nothing but 2.5%. So, very simple question. Just what you need is like frame the ratio. Once if you frame the ratio, unit relation between A and D. A is how much percent less than D? A is 2.5% less than D. Okay. Let us look at the next one. If 25% of half of X is equal to 2.5 times the value of 30% of 1/4 of Y, then X is what percent more or less than Y? So, it's asking like X is what percent more or less than Y. Let us observe the question clearly. 25% in fraction, it is 1 by 4. 25% of means multiplication. Half is nothing but 1 by 2. Of means multiplication. X is equal to, now this value is equal to how much? 2.5 times. Now, can I write 2.5 as 5 by 2? Why? Because 5 by 2 is nothing but 2.5. That is the reason 2.5 times I am writing it as 5 by 2. 2.5 times the value of 30%. 30% is nothing but 3 by 10 of 1/4. So, 1 by 4 of Y. So, this was the equation. So, once if you solve this, you will be coming across relation between X and Y. So, if you simplify this one, simplify this. When you simplify this, what happened? 2 and 2 gets cancelled. 4 and 4 gets cancelled. So, no more cancellations. Okay, if you observe here, 10 and 5 gets cancelled. 10 cancels in 5 how many times? 2 times. Which means X by Y is equal to 3 by 2. Okay, which means X is 3 parts and Y is 2 parts. Yes or no? So, X ratio Y is nothing but 3 ratio 2. Now, what is your question? X is what percent more or less than Y? If you look here, X is more than Y. X is how much more than Y? X is 1 more than Y. So, 1 by 2 into 100. So, 1 by 2 into 100 is nothing but 50%. So, we can say that answer is 50% more. Okay. Very simple question. Just you need to frame the relation. That is 25% of half of X is equal to 2.5 times of 30% of 1 by 4th of Y. So, once if you frame the relation, you will come to know that X is 3 parts and Y is 2 parts. So we can say that x is 50% more than y. Okay, very simple question. Let us look at the next one. A is 20% less than B and C is 30% more than D. If D is 25% less than A, then which of the following is true? So we need to find which of the following is going to be true. So I need to know relation between A, B, C and D. Okay, so let us observe here. So if you look at the first statement, A is 20% less than B. As A is 20% less than B, 20% is 1 by 5. Okay, as A is less than B, it should be A ratio B will be 4 ratio 5. Why? Because 20% is 1 by 5. As A is less means you need to do minus, which means if B is 5 parts, A is 1 less. So 5 minus 1, 4 parts. Next, similarly, C is 30% more than D. As C is 30% more than D, now what happened? C to D ratio will be what? C to D ratio will be, C is 30% more than D. As C is 30% more than D, if D is 10 parts, now C will be 13 parts. Similarly, if D is 25% less than A, so D is 25% less than A. Look here, D is 25% less than A. So D is 25% less than A. So D is 25% less than A. So D to A ratio will be 3 by 4. Why? Because 25% is nothing but 1 by 4. As it is less, it is going to be 1 minus. So D to A ratio will be 3 to 4. Now look here, D to A ratio is 3 to 4 and A to B ratio is what? A to B ratio is nothing but 4 ratio 5. Now look, we need to find which of the following is correct. And if you need to observe here, you need to know relation between C and D. If you need to know relation between C and D, DD gets cancelled, AA gets cancelled, then finally you are left out with C ratio B. Okay, if you calculate the ratio, 4 and 4 gets cancelled. Any more cancellations? No more cancellation. 13 3 times, it is going to be 39. Similarly, 10 into 5 is nothing but 50. Now if you look here, C is 39 and B is 50. Now if you observe here, I need to know which of the following is correct. So what we will do is like, you will multiply both these numbers with 2. When I multiply both these numbers with 2, now it is going to be 78 and this is going to be 100. Now we can compare them directly. Yes or no? If I compare them directly, I can say that C by B is equal to 78 by 100. Now 78 by 100 is nothing but 0.78. Now when B go to the other side, it is going to be C is equal to 0.78B. As C is equal to 0.78B, which is going to be option 2. And truly speaking, all this calculation is not required. Just you need to do this part. Once if you do this part, I will know that C ratio B is 39:50. After this, whatever I have done, this is just for the purpose of understanding. I have multiplied this ratio with 2. When we multiply this ratio with 2, 39 2 times will be 78 and 50 2 times will be 100. We will come to know that C is equal to 0.78B, which means option 2 is going to be your right answer. Okay. Let us look at the next one. With reference to a number greater than 1. But what is that number? We does not know. The difference between itself and its reciprocal is 25% of sum of itself and its reciprocal. By how much percentage correct to 1 decimal, which means you need to know approximate value, is 4th power of number greater than its square. Look here. This question is like really wonderful question. If you are unable to understand the question terminology, then obviously solving this question will become really complicated. Look here, what they need is 4th power. 4th power means x power 4. 4th power of the number is greater than its square. So greater than its square means square of the number. You need to find this. So what I will do is like simply, as we does not know what is that number, we will assume the number as x. If I assume the number as x, the question is saying the difference between itself and its reciprocal. Itself and its reciprocal means if I assume number as x, its reciprocal will be 1 by x. Yes or no? Now the question is saying difference between the number and its reciprocal. Difference between number and its reciprocal is equal to 25% of sum of itself and its reciprocal. 25% means 1 by 4. Yes or no? 25% of sum of itself and its reciprocal. Itself and its reciprocal means itself means x, reciprocal is 1 by x. Sum, so that is reason plus. Now simplify this one. When you simplify this one, it is going to be x square minus 1 by x is equal to 1 by 4 into x square plus 1 by x. Yes or no? Now if you are going to simplify this, what happened? X and x gets cancelled, then finally you are left out with, if x and x get cancelled, finally you are left out with, multiply this one. It is going to be 4x square minus 4 is equal to 4x square minus 4 equal to x square plus 1. Yes or no? When x and x get cancelled, 4 is going to be multiplied. So 4x square minus 4 is equal to x square plus 1. Now just simplify this one. When you simplify this one, 4x square minus x square is nothing but 3x square. 3x square is equal to minus 4, go to the other side, it will be plus 4. So 4 plus 1, it is going to be 5. Which means I can say that x square is equal to 5 by 3. Yes or no? Now what they are asking, fourth power of the number is how much greater than square of the number. If you simplify this one, x square cancels here, x square times x square cancels here one time, which means the ratio is x square ratio 1. Yes or no? What is the value of x square? X square value is 5 by 3. So substitute here 5 by 3 ratio 1. If you simplify this one, this is 5 ratio 3. Now your question is, fourth power of a number is how much greater than square of a number? Look here. Now square of a number is 3 parts. Fourth power is 5 parts. Now 5 is how much more? 2 more. So 2 by 3 into 100. So 2 by 3 is nothing but 66.66%. As it is approximate value, it is going to be 66.7%. Yes or no? Why? Because 2 by 3 is nothing but 66.66%. Very, very simple, and truly speaking, if you are unable to understand the language, it is going to be complicated question also. Okay? Just read the question clearly. If you read the question clearly and frame the equation, that is difference of itself and its reciprocal is equal to 25% of sum of itself and its reciprocal. Just frame the equation. If you frame the equation, you will come to know what is the value of x square. Once if you know the value of x square, substitute here, you are going to get the answer in fraction of seconds. Okay? Let us look at the next one. The profit made by a company in the present year is 15 lakhs. 2 years ago, the profit made by the same company was 24 lakhs. What is the percentage change in profit made by the company? Look here. Now even here the question is about percentage change. Whenever you come across questions based upon percentage change, these questions are similar to x is what percent more or less than y. Okay? Now observe here. Present year, what is the company profit? Present year company profit is 15 lakhs. 2 years ago, company profit is how much? 2 years ago, company profit is 24 lakhs. So present profit is 15 lakhs and 2 years ago 24 lakhs. Now the question is saying percentage change in the profit of company. So they are asking like percentage change. So whenever you come across questions in this way, again the same concept, difference. Look at the difference. Difference is how much? 15 and 24. Difference is how much? 15 and 24. Difference is nothing but 9. 9 by. In the denominator, what you need to do is like, whenever you are trying to compare profit or loss or what it may be, always you need to compare with previous value. Yes or no? Let us example, I told you I am going to get huge profits in this month. Now what do we mean by this? When I say huge profits in this month, it means that when I compare with the previous month, I am getting huge profits. Let us example, if I told you today so many students came to the class. Now what do we mean by this? when I said so many students came to the class, the meaning is when I compare with the previous day, now the number of students are more in the class. Yes or no? That is the reason whenever you are trying to compare, always you need to compare with the past value, past or previous value. So previous means now this is present, now this is like past. Past is like 24 lakhs. So divide by 24 into 100. Yes or no? So 3 cancels here 3 times, 3 cancels here 8 times. So 3 by 8. So 3 by 8 into 100. 3 by 8 is nothing but 37.5%. Now you need to know whether it is increment or decrement. Why? Because you have both the options. You have increment and you have decrement. Now if you look here, whether it is increment or decrement, you can just observe here and say, if you look here, present I am getting 15 lakhs. 2 years ago I got 24 lakhs, which means 2 years if I am getting 24 lakhs, now I am getting only 15 lakhs, which means decreased. As it is decreased, I am going to say it as 37.5% decrement, which is like fourth option. Okay, very simple question. So whenever you have questions like percentage change based upon company profits or strength of a class, what you need to do is like simply take difference by whatever the values you have in the past values, you need to write in the denominator. Okay, very simple question. Next one, two numbers are 90% and 75% lesser than a third number. By what percent should the first number be increased so that it becomes equal to the second number? Now even this question is similar to whatever the questions we have discussed earlier. So let us look at what is first number and what is second number. If I need to know first number and second number, first I need to know what is third number. So let us assume third number is 100. If third number is 100, first number is 90% less than the third number. So 90% less than third number means first number is going to be 10. And second number is 75% less than third number. So 75% less than third number means it is going to be 25. Now calculate ratio for this. If I calculate ratio, 5 goes here 2 times and 5 goes here 5 times, which means first number to second number ratio is 2:5. Now what is your question? By what percent first number should be increased to equal to second number? So look here, now second number is 5 parts, first number is 2 parts, which means how many parts more? 3 parts more. So it should be increased by 3/2 into 100. So 3/2 into 100 is nothing but 150%, which means first number should be equal to second number means it should be increased by 150%. Very simple question. Just take the difference. Difference is 3. 3/2 into 100. So 3/2 into 100 is 150%. Let us look at the next one. So what is the next question? In a test consisting of 300 questions, Rani answered 40% of first 100 questions correctly. What percent of remaining 200 questions does she need to answer correctly for her grade on the entire exam to be 50%? This is like very simple and general question. So total examination consists of 300 questions. Now out of these 300 questions, what happened is first 100 questions. Out of these first 100 questions, what Rani has done is she has marked 40% correct. So 40% correct means out of 100 questions, she already got 40 marks. Yes or no? Now out of 300 questions, 100 questions completed. So remaining balance is nothing but 200 questions. Now your question is saying that if she need to get overall 50% grade, 50% grade means how much percentage does she need to score in the remaining 200 questions? Now look here, out of 300 questions, 50% is nothing but 150 marks. Yes or no? Which means she need to score 150 marks. Already she scored 40 marks. Then how many more marks required? How many more marks means 110 marks required. But how many questions left out? Only 200 questions left out. So 110/200 into 100. So 00 gets cancelled. 110 cancels into how many times? 55 times. Which means she need to score 55% in the remaining 200 questions so that she is going to get overall score as 50%. Okay, very simple and general question. Let us look at the next one. A vendor sells 50% of apples he had and throws away 20% of the remainder. Next day, he sells 60% of the remainder and throws away the rest. What percent of his apples does the vendor throw? Now, even this is like very simple and general question. Now, how many apples actually the vendor have? I don't know. Let us assume total apples. Total apples the vendor have 100 apples. Out of 100 apples, what happen is 50% of apples are sold. So 50 apples are already sold. Okay. Now 50 apples are sold means remaining balance is 50. Okay. Now out of this 50 apples, what happened is he had thrown 20%. Out of this 50, he had thrown 20%. So out of 50, 20% means out of 50, 20% means 10 apples. So he has thrown these 10 apples. If he throw 10 apples, then remaining balance is 40 apples. Now, next what he has done? Next day, he sells 60% of the remainder. So, 60% of remainder means 60% of this 40 apples. So, 60% of 40. 60% of 40 is nothing but 24. He is going to sell these 24 apples and throws away the rest. Rest means out of 40, already 24 apples are sold. So, remaining balance is 16 apples. Now, he has thrown these 16 apples. Now, what is your question? Your question is, what percent of his apples does the vendor throw? So, vendor has thrown how many apples in terms of percentage? Now, if you look here, initially he has thrown 10 apples. Later, finally, he has thrown 16 apples, which means total 10 plus 16, he has thrown 26 apples out of 100 apples, which means in terms of percentage, it is going to be 26%. Yes or no? Why? Because he has thrown 26 apples out of 100 apples. So, in terms of percentage, the value is going to be 26%, which means he has thrown 26% apples. Very, very simple and general question.